So we'll wait for a couple of minutes for our devotees. Hare Krishna. So Vishaka, if you can share this with others so that they can also join. Great. Those who are coming in, who Vishaka has done on the chat so that I will get to know who all are in. Pranav is in. That's good. Hari Paul. Hare Krishna. Ritu is in. That's good. Hari Paul. Nikita is in. Very good. Ruturaj is in. Pranav Jagdale is in. Hari Paul. Good. So we'll get started with our Jayarada Madhav by the time other devotees will join. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhav Jayo Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Jayo Radha Madhav Jayo Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ki Jai Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ki Jai Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So the first question is, does the Vanar Sena or the Gita Club classes happen in English or in Hindi? This is my first time I'm giving a Vanar Sena class. So can somebody tell me whether it's Hindi or English? I would prefer English, but I would like to know the answer from the audience. And I'm looking at the chat. If somebody's going to put down and say whether it's going to be English. So Ravi Prabhu says English, since he is the first person, and I think he's the elderly amongst our Gopa Sakhas and Sakhis. So we'll go with English. Great. So, absolutely. So, first and foremost, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak amongst you, all wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, brimming with devotional services. And as I say, some of you might be looking at each other and smiling. I do know through the medium of YouTube, I can get to know all their faces. But on a serious note, you're all good Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis doing great amount of services under the tutelage and instructions of Ram Giridhari Prabhu. So it's my greatest fortune to share not stories, but to share your enthusiasm in my spiritual life so that I can look at the young boys and girls who are great service and I can get something energized after interacting with you. So that is the motive of this class for Vanar Sena exclusive of Seawood's Navi Mumbai congregation. Others who are joining us through YouTube, they are also welcome to listen in. So without further ado, we will introduce the topic for today. And in fact, I plan to do it in a series of lectures. And I do not know when the next chance would be, but whenever we speak for the Vanar Sena class, this would be considered as a series of lectures that I'm going to deliver. So let's start with the invocation and the Mangalacharan verses. And after that, we will delve into the topic. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. So we are all assembled here to talk and share some of the realizations and learnings from the greatest book of Sanatan Dharma, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. So many days ago, once while I was giving a class in Cheetah Camp in BARC, in the class, there were people from different religions sitting in the class, and I was speaking about Bhagavad Gita and how Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. At that time, one of the person got up after the class and asked me this question. The question was, which is that one book that we Hindus follow? This was the exact words of his question. If you have to choose one book amongst the entire books that you have, which is considered as the supreme or the topmost book, just like the people who are following the Mohammedan religion have the Holy Quran, people who are following the Christian religion have the Holy Bible, people who are following the Sikhism have Guru Granth Sahib, those who are following Jewish or Zoroastrianism have the Torah. Similarly, The question was, what about you Hindus? What is that one book that is considered the topmost and the book that all the Hindus should follow? So, I'm going to start with the same question being asked to the audience here. I wanted to have this in the Zoom session so that I can see everybody and ask this question. But somehow Vanar Sena, as usual, has successfully put this on YouTube now. So now I cannot see you. I have to only interact with you on the chat. But this entire lecture is going to be a conversation rather than a lecture or a monologue. So I would request as simple as that. So let us look at this question. The question is, which is the one book that you Hindus follow? Though our religion is not Hinduism, it's called Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion. So the question is open to the Vanar Sena boys and girls. What, according to you, is the one single book? Yes, anybody can put the answer. Vishakha says it is Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Anybody else? Ritu, Ravi, Utkarsha, Rituraj. Surabhi says Bhagavad Gita. Pranav says it's Bhagavad Gita. Seems like marathon has come early today. Huh? Everybody is saying Bhagavad Gita. Democracy wins, huh? Majority wins. But today is Srimad Bhagavatam, Baba. We are going to talk about Srimad Bhagavatam. Nobody is going to say Srimad Bhagavatam. What about others? Ritu, Bhagavad Gita. Nikita also, Bhagavad Gita. Everybody is saying Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So sold out Bhagavad Gita one time. Ravi is a little doubtful. Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Choose. It's like going into an ice cream shop and choose whether you want choco chips or you want butterscotch. Sorry, I should not be saying all this on a lockdown because do not have any choices to make. Okay. Bhagavad Gita. Oh, wonderful. My friend has also joined, Vivek Vishwakarma. Thank you very much for joining Bhagavad Gita. So this is a very unique question that we ask, which is the one book that Hindus or the Sanatana Dharma. The normal answer is, in our philosophy, not everything culminates into one. It's not necessary that we need to come to an understanding of a numerical figure of one. Our religion or Sanatana Dharma in itself is a religion of variegatedness or variety in itself. Nature has variety. So many different acharyas or the preceptors, spiritual preceptors, have given so many different kinds of tattvas or spiritual knowledge. So it is very difficult to arrive at one. So whenever somebody asks which is the one book of the Sanatan Dharma or the eternal religion people, then the answer is first and foremost, welcome to my library. It is never an answer that it is the one book. But what is the oneness that we are speaking about? In all the books of the library, if you flip the pages of all the books which are available in the library, what we learn from that is the one singular truth that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what we actually learn as a singular truth. Though the books might be many, the truth is one. So when we speak about Krishna is the Supreme Absolute Truth, then whatever is connected with Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the God of all the gods, Sarva Karana Karanam, he is the cause of all causes. So, whatever is connected with Krishna, that becomes very important, and hence all your answers are absolutely correct because Bhagavad Gita is none other than the song of God, which is spoken by Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality. Hence, it becomes one of the most prominent scriptures. The more prominent scripture is not about the speech of the person who is the supreme person, but it is his nature. For example, let us take a simpler example. If we like a person, suppose somebody is coming on the stage and giving a very nice speech, and for 5 minutes they are speaking very nicely, we get immediately motivated, impressed by that person. And when we get impressed by that person, what is the first thing that we think? We should get to know a little bit more about that person. What does that person have commonality with me? Does that person like chocolates, blue color? Like this, many things, many thoughts come in our mind to know better about a person. So while Bhagavad Gita is the instructions given by the Lord, when we want to know more about the person who is such a great personality who has given these instructions, we have to flip the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And hence, Srimad Bhagavatam becomes the postgraduate Bhagavad Gita. Postgraduate level is Srimad Bhagavatam. For those who are new, what is the difference between both? Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield to Arjuna by Krishna when both the mighty armies were there at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. 700 shlokas were spoken in the matter of 45 minutes, and everybody who was there at the battlefield heard it, especially Arjuna heard it more. It started with Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Ninyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavascheva Kimakurvanti Sanjaya, asked by Dhritarashtra, and it ended with Sanjaya saying Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno Yatra Patro Dhanurdharaka Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Bhuvani Tirmatir Mama. It started with what happened in the battlefield, and it ended with Krishna finally saying, "You have to surrender unto me, Arjuna." That was the philosophy which was given by Krishna. And then Krishna took that philosophy in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It starts with the surrender of Brahma, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, and it ends with Gopi. Again, the subject matter is surrender only, but where Bhagavad Gita ends, there Srimad Bhagavatam starts, which is a conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. If these characters are new to you, do not worry. Very soon we will get to know about them. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about various different topics from where we can learn a lot of understanding. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the most popular chapters is the 11th canto. Every scripture is divided as per different sections. A group of verses, a group of shlokas, a group of chapters are come together and they are given different names. Let me ask you another question. In Mahabharata, how are the chapters divided? What do we name? Like in Bhagavad Gita, we say there are 18 chapters. We call them as Adhyay. Adhyay means chapters. Similarly, Parva. So if you look at Mahabharata, we call it as Parva, Yuddha Parva, Bhishma Parva, like that. Parva means a collection of chapters. Okay. Ramayana, a collection of not chapters. Shlokas are called as, anybody in the audience? I told you I will ask questions. Don't worry. This is not to test your mind. This is just to keep it interactive. A group, yes, that's also correct. But a group of verses. So we have 7 kandas in Ramayana, which is Kishkinda Kand, Sundar Kand, Yuddh Kand, and Uttar Kand. So you have 7 different um, kandas in Ramayana. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, collection of chapters is called as, in Hindi it is called as, again I'm looking at the chat. Anybody? Collection of chapters in Hindi it is called as Pahila dash, Dusra dash, Skand, Tisra Skand, or in English it is called as first canto, second canto, third canto. So we see in Sanskrit there are different ways to finely chop and dice the chapters and its names. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are different skand or there are different cantos of divisions, and there is a 11th canto which comes towards the end. There are 12 cantos. In the 12th canto, the 11th, the penultimate canto, there is a beautiful description of a conversation between Krishna and Uddhava. We're going to talk something about that today, just to churn, and this is applicable for anyone who is hearing it for the first time. You don't need to have a little bit of history in the back, know about the story, do not worry. It's very easy to understand. That means he has finished the Mahabharata Yuddha, the Pandavas have won the war, and now everything, he has killed all the demons. So Krishna is thinking that now that the reason why I have come to this earth and taken this incarnation or taken this avatar, that has come to a complete conclusion, and now it is a time to go back to my home. So we all know Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Yada yada hi. Whenever there is a decline in religion, whenever there is irreligiosity which is on the rise, Glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam. Why do I come down? I come down yuge yuge. I come after every for protecting the devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkam. To eliminate the misgod. So Krishna had come to this earth and he had completely done that those activities. He had re-established the dharmas. He has ensured that the Pandavas won the war. Kauravas were defeated in the war. Dwaraka was established. Everything else was going fine and smoothly in the kingdom of the Yadus and the Yadavas. So Krishna now thought, time's up. Let's go back. Our duty is done. Our job is done. At that time, in his kingdom, there was one more person, his cousin of Krishna, was none other than Uddhava. He was the most smartest devotee of Krishna and one of the most brilliant minded devotees of Krishna. The scriptures say that if you look at Uddhava and if you look at Krishna, you will hardly find a difference. Both of them look same to same, absolutely similar. In fact, Uddhava used to love Krishna so much. He was his cousin, but he used to love him so much that he used to, and from his childhood, he used to play with dolls of Krishna and he used to wear clothing which used to be offered to Krishna. So everybody used to see Uddhava and they used to remember Krishna because he used to look exactly the same, almost the same, typical replica. And Krishna used to absolutely, as Dwarkadish, he was one of the king of Dwarka. He's the king of Dwarka, Uddhava a lot. So one day, when Krishna thought that the pastimes or the leelas of him have to come to an end and he has to go back to his home to Golok Vrindavan, which is in the spiritual sky, he wanted to finish the material activities in this material world. He thought of a pastime in which he called all the Yadus. Yadus are none other than his family members because they come in the dynasty of the king called as Yadu. That is why Krishna is called as Yadava. Yadava means one who is coming in the lineage of Yadu. So Krishna called all his Yadus or Yadavas, his family members, and he said, seems like you guys have done a great sin. Now everybody were astonished. How does Krishna know? How does Krishna know that we have committed a sin? So one of the most elders, Samba, starts speaking. Samba is one of the yes, Krishna, actually, right? We were just speaking to your grandfather Ugrasen, and we were talking to him about a great mistake that happened with us. And he narrates the pastime. What is the pastime he narrates? He says that we all went to this sage while we were playing, and we had heard from our childhood that sages can predict the future. So, you know what we did? We took Samba and we actually stuffed beneath his kurta. We kept a lot of cotton and pillows and everything and made him look like a girl who is pregnant. Now, here is Samba, who is a male. All the young princes, being haughty in nature, haughty or having a lot of pride that they are very aristocratic in their family, they actually stuffed a lot of pillows and cotton beneath the beneath the kurta of Samba, and they pushed Samba towards the sage, and they dressed him up like a girl, and then they also an earthen or an iron pot below it so that it looks like a very protruding belly of a pregnant woman. And they went to the sage and very mockingly paid their obeisances, paid their pranams to the sage, and they asked this question: "O sage, we know that you can know about the past, present, and the future. Why don't you tell us whether this girl," and they were giggling within themselves, "whether this girl will give rise to a boy or a girl?" So when the sage knew that this is actually they are trying to do a mockery of out of the situation, then the sage also knew that this was Krishna's plan to wind up the pastime. See, the sages are not very happy to give curses. They already know what is the plan of the Lord. So when they knew that you don't know how to respect the elders, and because you are mocking us, whatever will be produced out of this boy, that will be the very reason for the destruction of your entire dynasty. The answer was a curse. Now the play became serious, and everybody got shocked. And they saw that the metal pot, the sage had said that the metal pot will be the very reason of destruction of the entire Yadu dynasty. So they hurried back and they went back and told Ugrasen, beginning of the end has started. And at that time, Krishna comes and says, "Now that you have done a lot of sins to the sages, I think you should all go to this place called Prabhasa Kshetra, which is nowadays in modern Gujarat, just below Dwaraka. There is a place in Gujarat called as Veraval. That Veraval place has a place called Prabhasa Kshetra. Even today, that tree is standing where Krishna was actually lying down and taking rest, and the hunter was none other than Vali, they say, in this incarnation, shot the arrow at the heel of Krishna, and before the arrow touched Krishna, had disappeared already. So that pastime place is still there in Veraval. If we go once to Prabhasa Kshetra in Dwaraka, Gujarat, when this lockdown lifts up, we should all think of going there once. So that is how we should all go to Prabhasa Kshetra. And when he says you should go to the Prabhasa Kshetra, all the Yadus go there, and due to their intoxicated nature and due to the potency of the Lord, they all forget that they are actually there for a reason, and they started quarreling with each other. One person took a bamboo stick, hit on the other person took a bamboo stick, hit on the other, and they all fell dead. In fact, the entire Yadu dynasty collapsed there. They brought destruction to themselves. Now, this might be seeming very on the superficial level. This might be seeming this is very mumbo jumbo mythological story. But no, the real answer behind this is Krishna wanted his pastimes to conclude at his will. So, like this, Krishna is saying all these pastimes to Uddhava. And when Uddhava got to hear that we have to go to Prabhasa Kshetra, Uddhava immediately understood Krishna's plan, that he is planning to go. So Uddhava immediately came and offered his obeisances to Krishna. And he said, "Krishna, there is no chance that you can leave me behind. Absolutely, there is no chance that you should leave me behind. I am not going to go and fight like this and lie down my life. Wherever you are going, please take me along with you, because I am your eternal servant. I cannot live without you." So, this is what Uddhava told Krishna. And Krishna said, "You are the smartest devotee, Uddhava. So, what I want you to do is you have one last mission. You cannot come back to me right now. You have a mission to complete." And Uddhava said, "Please tell me what is the mission that I should complete." So he says that you should go to Badrikashram, which is none other than Badrinath, which is there in Uttarakhand. Very beautiful place, which is also called as Deva Bhumi. It is also part of the Char Dham, the Uttar Char Dham. Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri are considered the top Deva Bhumi Char Dham of India, of Bharat Bhumi. And he was sent there. And Uddhava asked, "Why are you sending me from Dwaraka, which is Gujarat, to all the way to Uttarakhand?" And Krishna said, "You are the perfect person who knows about devotional service, about bhakti. And if you go to Himalayas, you find all these sages sitting on one head doing yogic postures. Somebody is doing Hatha Yoga, somebody is doing Ashtanga Yoga, somebody is breathing once in 600 years, somebody is breathing once in 700 years, somebody is standing in ice without any clothing, somebody has smeared ashes over their body and standing on one leg, somebody is doing shirsasan for 200 years. All these people are doing different kinds of aspects of devotional service, but I want you, Uddhava, to go there and preach this bhakti yoga to everybody, the science of devotional service, which is there in Bhagavad Gita as well. So Uddhava is very pleased because he is getting a personal mission from Krishna. This is the first learning that we should learn in our spiritual life. Our spiritual life is not complete unless we render service unto a great person and we ask sincere questions. These are the two elemental things which are required to progress in spiritual life: render submissive service and ask questions. Many people today feel that our philosophy is bereft and of blind faith. In fact, the Western education system, if you look at school books and everything, they call our stories as mythological stories. First and foremost, this word should be eliminated from the textbooks. There is nothing mythological about it. It's a supreme, absolute fact and truth. It is because the Western Britishers wanted to drill into us that your culture is nothing but a myth and myth alone. Every newspaper on Speaking Tree, on Times, and many other newspapers that we see, we always see this as per mythological scriptures. Mythological means that which never existed. This is not the understanding that our acharyas and scriptures give. These are facts of life. So we should be always clear that when we speak about scriptures, we never use this word mythological. It doesn't exist. It's a British educated system, a leftist education system, which is trying to be pushed into us. Not interested. So, the very reason of these scriptures. So, Uddhava said, "Thank you very much for letting us know." And he rendered very nicely service to Krishna. So, that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Pariprashnena seveya upadekshanti de jnanam jnanina satvadashna. So he says, Pariprashnena sevaya. First, you have to do seva, service. First, you have to submissively inquire, not in a challenging spirit. I know this. What about you? We don't ask like that. So, like that, he rendered the service and he got this knowledge. And Uddhava said, before I go to Badrikashram, Krishna, tell me some personal instructions. And that part of those instructions, where Krishna gave the parting instructions to Uddhava, is greatly known in this world as Uddhava Gita. The Bhagavad Gita was given by Krishna to Arjuna, the same message more elaborately. Now, the situation was not the battlefield, the situation was coming to an end, and Krishna wanted to give this message to Uddhava. He gave this message as Uddhava Gita, and that comes from the 11th canto, 3rd chapter to 11th canto, 23rd chapter. In fact, 20 chapters, Krishna gives this knowledge to Uddhava. And Uddhava is hearing, and there Uddhava asks a question: how am I supposed to understand what about this nature, and how am I supposed to acquire knowledge? Which is the topic for today. So Krishna says very beautifully in the 11th canto that people in this world should use their rationalized knowledge and look at the nature, and they should understand my activity. So what are we trying to say? We are trying to say that we should look at this world from different set of eyes. Now, many people in this world, now if you open a social media, Instagram or Facebook, you will see plenty of posts on animals and animal protection. I do not know how many of you come across it. I get sick and tired after some time. How to protect the dog. There is a dog which was found in a shelter. It was actually very limp, and somebody cared for it, showed kindness. Now it is good, and we feel better. Yes, this is great. This is good. Kindness. And then there will be another sect of videos where we will see how the ocean is getting dirty day after day, how the straws and plastics are put into the ocean, and how we are shipping out tons and tons of garbages from the ocean, and how environment is getting polluted, and we should protect the environment. Again, a great notion, wonderful notion. We should protect the environment. Absolutely great. And then there will be another set of how pollution is causing trouble, how rivers are getting dry, how Ganges is polluted. We should protect Ganges. Third set of initiatives. Like this, if we choose the initiatives on environment, there are millions of such notions that we can find. Somebody will say stop plastic, somebody will say stop carbon, somebody will say stop drilling, somebody will say stop oil, somebody will say stop steel, somebody will say use polycarbonate. There will be so many different initiatives that from the environment alone people will be initiating. There will be so many people initiating many initiatives which will be to protect the animals. So, which is good and which is bad? The answer Krishna gives in the Uddhav Gita. Krishna says, as long as you think that the mother nature exists, we call her mother nature. But very sadly, nobody, so anybody who says there has to be no creator, that is something impossible to accept. It is very, very not possible at all to accept this, because even if there is a good painting, we immediately ask the question, who is the painter? Self. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll continue. I hope you can hear. So, the very fact that we see is, I'm saying, I think, yes, okay. So, we see that the very fact of people have to understand that this mother nature is connected. Connection is not working. Okay, yeah, okay. So maybe there is a small buffering in between. Apologies for that. A small mistake in the connection. Rituraj, Surabhi, Pranav, Vivek, are you be able to hear? Yes. Okay. Perfect. So let's continue. So what I was saying is the mother nature and Krishna has to be connected. Krishna is the father and nature is his extension. So unless we connect both of these, we will be not able to understand completely that what we are supposed to do. For example, the level one is we should protect this environment because we are supposed to survive in this environment. That is level one. Level one because we are interested in our survival. Level two is we understand everything is coming from Krishna. So when everything is coming from Krishna, so we would like to protect it in a nice way. So we see a connection between the creator, just like the law needs a lawmaker. That's the level two. Level three is not only I protect the environment, not only I understand where it is coming from, I also try to see how can I give back this environment back to the creator who has actually given us all these beautiful things. A very simple example is wonderful painting of a flower can sell for crores of rupees. A beautiful painting which is kept in JJ Art Gallery in a very exquisite side of painting with different colors can be sold for crores and millions and billions of dollars. But you know what? Everybody will appreciate that painting, but nobody appreciates the natural flower which is there, which is soft texture. You can't touch the painting and get the texture. Forget about the texture. What about the fragrance? Even the greatest painting cannot induce the fragrance of a flower inside it. So while it might have the four qualities of paint, all the color and everything, fragrance is something which is there only in Mother Nature. So if you see, the creator or the person who has created this is very unique, and we are able to see and use our rationalized logic. We don't need to have blind faith. We can use the rationalized logic, and we can see the things around us, and we can come to conclusion. So Uddhava is asking Krishna, please tell me, how do I use the rationalized logic? And Krishna is telling a very beautiful story, a very simple story, and especially in Maharashtra, many people know this story. And the story is, Krishna is saying, once there was a great king called as Yadu. Now look at this. Yadu is coming in his own ancestry. This person was the son of Yayati. And this king Yadu, his father Yayati, came to him and said, I have a request. What is the request? He said, look, I'm getting old, but I want to enjoy my life even more. There are many people in this world like that. Their age is coming to an end, but still they want to enjoy more and more and more. They want to have lust, they want to have greed, they want to sense gratify themselves. So Yayati came and said, I want to exchange my old age with my son's young age. Which of you, son? He had four sons. So he asked, can one of you give me your young age and I will give my old age in return? And I will, after some time, when I am fully satisfied, we can exchange it back. Maybe they had some technology to do that. Everybody refused except his eldest son Puru, who said, okay, I will do it. But there was a king called Yadu, who was the youngest son. He also refused because he knew that he has to marry and get children, because in his lineage Krishna would appear. So Yadu was that person, a self realized soul, a great personality. Once he was traveling along, and while he was traveling, this king Yadu was traveling, he saw a person who was looking absolutely like a mad person on the street. He was very beautiful to look at. He had, in fact, very nice hair. He had a very good gym physique body. He was very pleasant by his face. But he was just wandering around like a madman, not even thinking about what is happening in this world. Everybody thought that he was a mental character. Everybody around them, around that personalities, thought that he is thoda dealer from the top. In fact, we see many such personalities on the road where they do not have the mental balance. Very unfortunate situation. We feel pain in the heart. Our heart goes out for them. However, when Yadu saw this personality on the road with a little different character, he understood he is not a mentally deranged person. And the reason Yadu gives is that he says there is a calmness in that person. So Yadu goes to this personality Brahmana and he says, I am observing you for some time. And the Brahmana turns and looks at the king. He is the Yadu, he is the king. And this Yadu, the king, is joining both his hands and standing before him. Again, Pariprashnena Sevaya. He is doing his service by glorifying him and then asking a question. He's saying, I am looking at you for a long time. You have a very beautiful appearance. You have a very well maintained body. You need not beg anywhere. But I see that you are not doing any job. You are not doing any activity. Even the greatest people do some kind of activity, but you are not doing any activity. But when other people don't do activity, they constantly think about what will be their income, where we will get the income, and they get disturbed. Generally, in our offices, what happens is when we have work, we are very happy, okay, we are doing this work and others. But suddenly, when the work stops and some people come on bench, they get very volatile. Whether what will happen to me, I am 2 weeks on bench, 3 weeks on bench, whether positive work will come to me or not come to me, will the company kick me out? It is a lockdown time, is finances going to come? All these mental stresses come into the mind of the person. But here, Yadu was saying, though you are not doing any activity, I don't see the stress also in you. That means that there is some great pleasure in the heart of hearts. That means you have something blissful in your heart, that these material problems are not suffering, are not causing a suffering in you. Can you please tell me what is the source of inspiration of your happiness? This is the question that Yadu asks to the Brahmana. And in fact, the scriptural acharyas say that Brahmana was none other than, who is known in Maharashtra, every nook and corner. He was none other than Dattatreya, the great personality Avadhuta Brahmana, who was none other than Dattatreya, who was born to Anusuya, and who was Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh all put to them, three of them put together. So that Dattatreya was an Avadhuta. Avadhuta means one who does not take care of any social norms. No social norms apply to him. They are self-realized souls. They walk when they want to walk. They dance when they want to dance. They are absolutely like the Jogi Fakirs that other languages call them as. So they are like Avadhutas. So this personality said one of the greatest verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, where he mentioned that, thank you for asking me this question. I am going to tell you the secret behind the happiness in my heart. He says, Sri Brahmana Uvacha, Shanti me Guravo Rajan Bahavo Buddhi Upashritaha, Yatto Buddhim Upadaya Mukto Tamiha Tanshruno. The Brahmana said, my dear king, with my intelligence, I have taken shelter of many, many spiritual masters. Having gained transcendental understanding from them, I now wander the earth in a liberated condition. Please listen as I describe to you. So, what he is saying is, मैंने बहुत कुछ देखा है इस संसार में, और इस संसार में बहुत कुछ देखते हुए I have learned many spiritual masters, and with my rationalized intelligence I have not spoken to them, but by just observing them I have understood many truths. Now this is a very, very important subject matter for a spiritual practitioner. The way we see nature, by nature we can learn a lot of things. Poets get inspired by nature, people get inspired by nature, but the real got inspired by nature. Not only inspired, how he has got 24 different spiritual masters. So in this series of lecture, what we are going to see are the 24 spiritual masters and from each of the thing in material nature. So this was the background that I wanted to set as the first one of those lectures, where Krishna is telling Uddhava about the story, about the narration of Yadu and Avadhuta, and the Yadu is asking, how do I learn? And he is giving this answer that you learn from Mother Nature with your rationalized intelligence. And now Yadu is very interested. He asks, tell me, who are your 24 different spiritual masters? And the Avadhuta, Dattatreya, in a very quick way, he tells all the 24. Please count in your fingers as I tell these names whether there are 24 in nature or not. He said, I have taken shelter of 24 gurus. They are: number one, earth; number two, air; three, sky; four, water; five, fire; six, moon; seven, sun, Surya, sun; eight, the pigeon; nine, the python; 10, the sea; 11, the moth. Moth is that parwana which actually goes inside the flame of the candle; 12, honeybee, bhaura; 13, elephant; 14, honey thief; 15, the deer; 16, the fish; 17, the prostitute named Pingala; 18, the kurara bird; 19, the child; 20, the young girl; 21, the arrow maker; 22, the serpent; 23, the spider; and last 24, the wasp. 24 different things in nature, and now the Avadhuta is going to talk to us the beautiful description of how each one of them are able to teach us something. Today we will see only the first one, and we'll come to a close. And there will be a lot of questions that I had to ask on the same. The first one that he mentions, he says, is I learned from Bhumi. Bhumi is none other than, what do we call Bhumi in English? Mother Earth. So, what is the first thing before we get to know what the Avadhuta said? First, we should know what Bhumi does to us. So, any answers? Yes, Earth. Absolutely true. So, what is Earth giving us? What does how are we related to Earth? Do we take anything from this Earth? What does Earth give us? Any answers? Food. Okay. Earth gives us food. How? By sowing the seed, it gives us the plants. It, from there, it gives the produce. Okay. Earth gives us food. What else? Earth gives us shelter. Okay. Okay. In a sense, yes. Okay. Anybody else? What does Earth give us? प्रभु जी आज तक सोचा ही नहीं है, बस चलते जा रहे थे, चलते जा रहे थे. Place to live, natural resources. Surabhi says absolutely right. What natural resources? Can somebody explain it a little more further? What natural resources does Earth gives? Anybody? Water, stability. Earth gives oxygen, maybe not, but natural resources like minerals, right? It gives us gold, gives us diamond. We forget about all the good things, right? One of the things that it gives is fragrance. When the rain hits the Mother Earth, it gives fragrance. So you see, what the Avadhuta said was that Mother Earth actually gives us so many different things. But what do we give to Mother Earth? That is the second question. What do we give to Mother Earth? What does human give to Mother Earth? Pollution. Okay, now the list starts. Pollution. Okay, first one is correct. Then, Bhas, we only give pollution? No other answer. Everybody's thinking. Deforestation. Vishaka says हम उसके ऊपर चलते हैं. Okay. Concrete jungle, plastic. So you look at the difference. On the top, we had everything that was positive, and what we are giving to the earth is generally negative. Largely. Absolutely right. Ravi said one of the most important thing. Digging. Like crazy, we dig into this Mother Earth. And we dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, and we try to find out where there is oil, petrol, etc. So one of the first qualities that this Avadhuta is saying is from Mother Earth, we get to see forbearance or tolerance. We get to learn. How is that we get to see? Even though we are doing wrong things to her, she is actually tolerating all of that and giving us back food, shelter, minerals, all of this. She is not pointing a finger back to us, and she is not saying, hey, you are the one who polluted my earth. You are the one who is actually drilling for oil, and you drilled more than what is necessary. You are the one who is constructing the metro construction for the last 10 years, and no, and always you are running the trains here and there. You are the one who is spitting on me. You are the one who is actually creating concrete jungle and creating polluted environments, and continues to give the food, the material, the shelter. So Dattatreya is saying that I get to learn the quality of tolerance from Mother Earth. Mother Earth teaches us, Even though somebody does evil to us, it is our responsibility that we should tolerate and we should not do evil things in return. This is the quality of forgiveness, forbearance, and tolerance. And this is the first spiritual master that we can look from our rational logic. We don't need any kind of faith or devotional logic. We can just use our rational brain and see how we are polluting Mother Earth, but still she is acting for our welfare. This is the greatest learning of tolerance that we can learn from Mother Earth. What else do we do? Apart from these are small activities what we do. The other great activity that we do is we take an atom bomb and drop it on her and test so many nuclear weapons on her. And while testing those nuclear weapons, her entire place gets into a big blast and she gets split open and she feels pain because she's a personality. She's not a jud matter. So she feels pain, but at the same time, at the same place, she will also give a sapling and let life forms move ahead and give roti, kapda, and all of that, cotton. She produces all of that and she still keeps on giving. Even to a sinner, she keeps on giving and she forgives that person. So if we want to learn a quality from Mother Earth, the one of the greatest qualities that we should learn is tolerance. And in our life, how do we apply? Let me ask this question. How many of you, please say yes or why, put on the comment. How many of you have got trouble from others? If you have got trouble from others, please put a yes or a why. How many of you have got trouble from others? Seems like nobody. Am I dreaming or are you guys the Avadhutas? Yes. Okay. Very clear, right? We always face those who have not said yes. Maybe we should change the position of Mumu Avadhuta and put them in place. Every now and then, we get trouble from others. In some way or the other, we get troubled. And how many times did we have a flight response or a fight response? We always had a fight response. It is not my mistake, it is somebody else's mistake. We always have this notion. Tolerance is one of the least thing that is taught nowadays in the corporate world. An eye for an eye is something is what is taught in the corporate worlds today. So by mother nature, we should build this quality of tolerance. How do we build the quality of tolerance? Very easy. Practice tolerance. Tolerance and forgiveness and forbearance, these qualities cannot be learnt in any textbooks. It has to be practiced. When wrong things come to us, when people do wrong things to us, even though it is not our fault, we should still tolerate. This is not a sign of weakness, this is a sign of greatness. Of course, we should maintain our self respect. We should see that the other person does not exploit us, but at the same time, for reasons which are for a higher purpose, we should tolerate. And Avadhuta goes on to explain, the Brahmana explains that let us also look at the great things that Mother Earth holds, mountains and trees. He gives two examples which are there on Mother Earth. The first thing is mountains. So the question comes back to you: what do we get out of mountains? What do we get out of mountains? What does mountain give us? Mountain से क्या मिलता है? Yes, anybody? Everybody's fifth standard science. What does mountain give us? Mountain gives us rain. Okay. What else does mountain give? Mountain gives us only rain. Good photographs, Prabhuji. Instagram में डालने के लिए अच्छा है. पीछे दिखता है. अच्छी तरह से दिखता है. हाँ. Rivers. Soil fertility. Oh my God, geography. We are going into geography now. But yes, correct. It gives you minerals in the soil. It collects. Yes, minerals, soils, so ores. Absolutely right. Those are correct. So what mountain gives us that it collects all the fresh water, clear water, and it gives it to the rivers. And most importantly, like how Nikita said, it holds the forests on the top. That means it takes care of many living entities on itself. The mountain takes care of the living entities on itself. So it is supporting such great life forms, even though people are doing so much atrocities. A beautiful example comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, that how Mother Earth is being drilled again and again. In the third canto, when Hiranyaksha, to find gold, he keeps on drilling, and he finds keeps on drilling so much that the earth falls out of the orbit. Many years ago, once I was telling this pastime in Goklesh Prabhu's office, there was one miner who was there in the audience, and he asked this question, Prabhuji, how is this possible? Just because of mining, earth will fall out of its orbit or what? How is this understandable? And so the question was asked back to him by Goklesh Prabhu. Very nice question he asked. What are you mining for? And he said, I am mining for oil. I go to these high rigs where we mine so many kilometers deep into the earth and we take out oil. And then the question he asked, do you think that this oil is necessary for Mother Earth? He said, no, I don't think so. It's just a byproduct. He said, are you sure? He said, yeah, I'm very sure. I don't think so. The oil is required for Mother Earth. It is for us to use. It is there, it is available. And for us, we have to drill and use. So then the question was asked, what engineer are you? He said, I'm a mechanical engineer. That's why I got selected in the oil rig. So he said, if you're a mechanical engineer, you might be knowing potential energy and kinetic energy. He said, yeah, I know potential energy, I know kinetic energy. So for kinetic energy means there should be something in motion. Yes, something should be in motion. Do you think Earth is in motion? He said, definitely. Earth is revolving around Sun, and it takes 24 hours for Earth to complete one. So it takes 365 days for one entire revolution around the Sun. 365 and 1 by 4. So he said, so Earth is in motion? He said, yes. By mechanical law, if something is in motion, you need fuel, because without fuel, you cannot move. Whether it is human being, you need the fuel of food. Similarly, if it is a motor, it needs oil. So if Earth is in motion and you consider it as a machine, don't you think the oil that you are drilling is required by Mother Earth? He said, this is the first time I thought it like that. In fact, Newton's law of motion, gravity, and everything is based on certain simplest terms, that when Earth has to move, it needs its own fuel. It's a different case. We have not discovered yet how scientifically these two things are related. That might be a fallacy of science, but not a fallacy in the spiritual world. So much that Hiranyaksha was drilling into Mother Earth, that the Earth had to fall down from its orbit, and it fell down into the Garbhodaka ocean. And Varaha had to come down and replace the orbit back, replace Earth back in its orbit. So, by mountains, by earth, even though such things are being done cruelty to her, she still protects and gives us shelter. So, the first quality that we learn of Mother Earth is forbearance. And the Avadhuta also says, on the mountains there are many forests and trees. So, the third question is, what does trees give us? ट्रीज से क्या मिलता है? पेड़ों से क्या मिलता है? तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरिव सहिष्णुना. But what does trees give us? Any answers? Paper, fruits. Okay. In fact, trees give us shadow. Yes, very good. Medicines. In fact, trees also give us firewood, right? It's an ecosystem for insects, birds, bees. So you see how a simple tree also gives us so many different things. It gives us twigs. In fact, if you go to Canada, people will, if you go to some forest, they will put some pipes inside the trees, and they will allow the syrup of the tree to be captured, and they sell it as maple syrup, which you put on pancakes, sweet as honey. It gives us sap from where we make rubber. It is a habitat for many other living insects. It gives shelter. So we see that the very ecosystem the tree always gives. And what do? We go with an axe and try to cut the tree. And when we cut the tree, does it say, hey, you are the person who cut me with an axe? I will not give Alfonso mangoes to you in this summer. No. In the other branch, it says, while you are cutting my another branch, you please take Alfonso mangoes for you. Not only for you, I have 1 dozen mangoes. For the entire Vanarsena, it is there. So please take. So the trees are so tolerant in nature that even though we create harm to the trees still are giving back to us. The mountains, we try to chop off the mountains and we try to create pathways and roads and many other things. Still, the mountains give us minerals, fresh water, ecosystem, living life, entities, living insects, everything, ecosystem, living balance. All these are resting on Mother Earth. And one of the greatest qualities that we learn from Mother Earth is tolerance. Even if people do evil things to us, we are not supposed to give back. And this is the first learning that the Avadhuta shares with Yadu. So, we as practitioners, when we use or when we read such scriptures, we should also develop this vision of when we see Mother Earth, when we see tomorrow Earth, we mentally bow down to her and we pray to her that we also get a little bit of tolerance. We also learn a little bit of tolerance. And by looking at nature, we can learn so many different things. And this is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the highest epitome of truth which Krishna is telling to Uddhava. So we should also learn. And many beautiful lessons he says of the other 23 spiritual masters. Tomorrow or the next time when we talk about, we will speak about the other four spiritual masters which the Avadhuta speaks about. But today we have seen none other than the background of how this conversation has taken place, and we see the first verse of Mother Earth, where the first spiritual master, Mother Earth, on how we are supposed to take forbearance as one of those qualities within us. So, if you have any questions or clarifications, we can discuss. Otherwise, we will stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If there are any questions, comments, clarifications, we can discuss. Anybody with any questions, comments? Is utilization of natural resources wrong? Very good question. Never. Utilization of natural resources are not wrong. In fact, there are two things that we have to do. While we are utilizing natural resources, number one is the cognizance that where these natural resources are coming from. We have to first understand Mother Nature has also a father. There is also a father in place, which is Krishna. And second, we only utilize how much ever it is necessary for us. We don't utilize those things over, or we do not go and over exploit Mother Nature for our greed. That's why it is said that this world can produce, this earth can produce so much for everyone's need, but this earth cannot produce for one person's greed. This is a very great statement. We should put it somewhere, on our cupboards and cubicles. The earth can produce everything for all the human beings need, but the earth cannot produce for one person's greed. That means that if we over accumulate the natural resources, we exploit the natural resources, that is wrong. And second, we should also engage the natural resources for the glorification of the person who has created this natural resources. So if he gives honey, we offer honey and we eat. He gives spices, we offer the spices and we use it in our cooking. He gives whatever is been given to us, it has to be dovetailed, not that it is not to be used. By not using is also wrong. We have to utilize those natural resources in a limited manner, whatever is our requirement, and we should give it back. And then we should also connect it to, that is the understanding. So utilization of natural resources is not wrong. Over utilization for our greed is wrong. Any other question? I hope that answers the question. If there are any other, no other question. If there are no other question, then I have a small request. So as we are doing this 24 spiritual masters, my request is everybody who is attending this, please go back, use your internet, go to Vedabase and search at least one verse or one glorification from our scriptures on Mother Earth. And please bring it with you next time. We will spend the first 5 minutes speaking about glorifying Mother Earth, so that when we finish this entire lectures, we will have a set of 24 set of documents where we have collated the glorification of each one of these. It might be difficult to find, it might be not, but I leave it to you. Even if it is a repeat, it's okay. But please take this activity of finding one verse at least, or one glorification from Srila Prabhupada's books on Mother Earth. Can it be done? Just one. 1 week you have to find one verse of glorification on Mother Earth. And you can keep that in the pocket, and then we will all compile it together on Google Docs, because my intention is as we finish these 24 different spiritual masters, we can in fact launch the first book from Vanar Sena talking about the glorifications of what we learn from these 24 spiritual masters and the glorifying verses under each one of them. So that is the intent and the idea. So for which we all Prabhupada books, no, anywhere that you find in scriptures, if it is Prabhupada's books or if it is there in his purports, it's fine. Otherwise, if you find in other scriptures like Garga Samhita, Skanda Puran, find out from anywhere. But you should have proper meaning, proper place of reference from where they are, so that we can go back and say, this is where the glorification is and this is where it is. And if you are able to find more than one, you are not restricted to one, please find more, right? But then you can share one of them in the next class. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.